Welcome to my channel. Subscribe, listen and enjoy my stories every day. The grand ballroom shimmered under the glow of chandeliers, laughter echoing off the walls lined with the elite and their finery. I, Andrew, stood beside my wife, Elisa, who was adorned in a sleek, black evening gown that caught the eyes of many. We were at a corporate gala, one meant to be a celebration of accomplishments, but the night carried a different weight for me. Elisa had been distant lately, her smiles forced and her touches fleeting. I chalked it up to stress from her new role at work, yet the nagging suspicion in my mind grew sharper with each passing day. As the evening wore on, Elisa's gaze kept flickering to the entrance, her anticipation thinly veiled. "I'll just go freshen up," she murmured, her voice a melody that failed to soothe my sudden unease. Watching her glide away, the knot in my stomach tightened. Minutes turned into an hour, and she hadn't returned. Pretenses dropped, I excused myself from a conversation about market trends, my mind racing as I headed towards the lobby. The cool air of the night did little to calm my heated thoughts. Approaching the entrance of our hotel, which hosted the event, I stopped dead in my tracks. There, in the dimly lit alcove, stood Elisa, her back to me, leaning close to a man whose face was shadowed by the night. Her laughter floated across the distance, a sound I knew well, yet it stung with betrayal. My heart thundered against my ribs as I watched, hidden by darkness. Her hands, those familiar, tender hands, reached forward with a boldness that shattered my world. The soft clicking of a belt buckle filled the silence between my breaths. The shock rooted me to the spot, the scene unfolding like a nightmare. When I could bear no more, I stepped forward. The crunch of gravel underfoot sounded a warning, and they parted abruptly. Elisa turned, her face a mask of shock and guilt. The man, a high-ranking executive known to us both, adjusted his attire, his smirk fading as he recognized me. "Andrew." "It's not," Elisa began, her words trailing off under the severity of my glare. "Save it," I snapped, the cold fury in my voice foreign even to me. "I want you out. Tonight." The ride back to our home was a silent storm. As soon as we arrived, I threw her belongings into her suitcase, my actions fueled by a betrayal so deep it poisoned every memory. Elisa's pleas for understanding, for a chance to explain, fell on deaf ears. The image of her with him was seared into my vision, a permanent scar. "I never meant for this to happen," she whispered, her voice breaking. "Neither did I retorted, my tone icy as I handed her the suitcase. "Goodbye, Elisa." The door closed with a finality that echoed through the empty halls of the home we once shared. I stood there, alone, the silence a stark contrast to the chaos of betrayal. But this was just the beginning. I vowed to ensure that our paths would never cross again, and as for him, retribution was only a plan away. The web of deceit would unravel, but on my terms, ensuring they both regretted the day they crossed Andrew Carmichael. As the night stretched on, my mind raced with the possibilities of revenge. The pain they caused would be returned tenfold. This chapter of my life was closed, but another, darker one was just beginning. The morning after Elisa's departure is gray, the overcast sky mirroring the storm inside me. I sit at the kitchen table, the silence oppressive, broken only by the soft tick of the wall clock. My mind, however, races with the hum of 1,000 thoughts, plotting the course of my revenge. Each tick a reminder of the deceit that has shattered my trust. I reach for my phone, its screen lighting up with missed calls and messages, friends, family, concerned colleagues. Ignoring them, I dial the number of my lawyer, the lines of betrayal hardening into resolve. "Mark, it's Andrew. I need you to start the divorce proceedings immediately," I say, the words crisp and devoid of emotion. "Andrew, I'm sorry to hear that," Mark's voice is heavy with sympathy. "Are you sure there's no room for?" "No," I cut him off, firm. "There's no turning back. Also, I want everything she might lay claim to, scrutinized. I don't intend to let her off easy." "Understood," he replies after a brief pause. I'll get on it right away. The call ends, and a plan begins to form, a plan not just to separate legally but to dismantle the life she thinks she can lead without me. As the day wears on, I dress meticulously, choosing a sharp, dark suit that feels like armor. My reflection in the mirror is that of a man transformed by betrayal, eyes colder, features harder. Driving to the office, I rehearse the confrontation that awaits. The man, her lover, also a stakeholder in the company where we both serve on the board. Today's board meeting will be the stage for the beginning of his downfall. At the office, I walk with determined steps towards the conference room. Heads turn, whispers follow. News travels fast, it seems. I push open the doors, my entrance halting the low murmur of pre-meeting chatter. Andrew, can we talk? He stands, the discomfort clear in his posture. Not much to talk about, I say loudly, making sure every ear in the room catches my voice. But sure, let's talk about trust and integrity, something you seem to lack both in personal and professional realms. The room falls silent, all eyes on us. He pales, a bead of sweat visible on his forehead. I think this is a misunderstanding, he stammers, his voice a mix of plea and defiance. A misunderstanding? I laugh, the sound bitter. I don't think finding my wife's hands on your belt in a secluded alcove can be termed a misunderstanding. Murmurs rise around us, the board members exchanging looks of shock and censure. Let's keep this professional, shall we? He tries to regain some of his earlier composure. Oh, it will be professional, I assure him, my tone icy. Seeing as your professional judgment seems as impaired as your personal one, I'm calling for a review of all the decisions and projects led by you. Starting with the last financial quarter. His face drains of color, understanding the implications. Misconduct here could mean more than just social shame, it could lead to his professional demise. As I sit, my gaze sweeps over the shocked faces of our colleagues. Today, the seeds of retribution are sown, not just in the ruins of a personal relationship, but across the very boardroom that he values so much. I lean back, the faintest smile playing on my lips. This is just the beginning. As the days turn into a week, the fallout of my public confrontation with him at the board meeting has set off a chain of events that rattles the very foundations of the company. The board, now wary of any mismanagement or misconduct, orders a comprehensive audit of all projects under his oversight. My phone buzzes incessantly, a mix of support from allies and cautious inquiries from the undecided. Today, I'm back at the office, a stack of financial reports spread out before me in the quiet of the conference room. I sift through them meticulously, each document a potential ammunition in my ongoing war against him. The door swings open, and Mark strides in, a folder tucked under his arm. His expression is grim, but there's a spark in his eyes, good news, undoubtedly. Found something? I ask, straight to the point. Yes, and it's big, Mark replies, setting the folder down. He pulls out several sheets, laying them in front of me. Look at these transactions. There's a pattern of unusual bonuses paid out, all signed off by him. I lean over the papers, my eyes scanning the figures. The numbers don't lie, and they paint a clear picture of corruption. We can use this, I state, feeling the first real surge of victory. Have you shared this with anyone else? Not yet. I came straight to you, Mark confirms. Good. Leak it to the press. Anonymously. Let's see him handle this storm. Mark nods, understanding the strategy. He gathers the documents, ready to set the plan in motion. As he leaves, I turn back to the window, watching the city below. This battle is not just in boardrooms and over legal paths, it's about reclaiming my dignity and ensuring they both pay dearly. Later that afternoon, the story breaks. News outlets pick up on the leaked documents, and soon, his name is being dragged through the mud. The phone rings, and I answer it on the second ring. Andrew, you've gone too far, his voice comes through, a mix of anger and desperation. Not nearly far enough, I respond coolly. You should have thought about the consequences before betraying me. You won't get away with this, he threatens, his voice harsh. Oh, but I already am. And just so you know, this isn't just about you. She's next. The line goes dead, but the threat hangs in the air, a promise of more to come. The next few days are a whirlwind. The board, now in full damage control, distances itself from him. Calls for his resignation grow louder, fueled by the relentless press coverage. Meanwhile, I start on Elisa, her social circle the next battlefield. I meet with mutual friends, subtly dropping hints of her indiscretions, turning her confidants into skeptics. By the end of the week, her social media is a ghost town, her friends list dwindling. One evening, as I review the day's progress, a message pops up on my phone. It's from Elisa, the first since our separation. Please stop this. What do you want? I stare at the message, a bitter satisfaction settling in. I type back a single line, knowing it will strike a deeper chord. Nothing you can offer anymore. This is just the beginning. As I send the message, I lean back, the pieces of my plan slowly falling into place. The pain they caused is being returned, their lives unraveling thread by thread. But it's not over yet. I have more plans, and my retribution is far from complete. The cold, unyielding march of my revenge draws to its climax. The city, once a sprawling stage for our shared dreams, now hosts the final act of a tragedy of my own scripting. His career is in tatters, caught in the relentless grip of scandal. Elisa's social standing has crumbled, her once vibrant circle now a void. Yet, the gnawing pit of betrayal demands a more personal conclusion. As I sit in my dimly lit study, the last piece of my plan falls into place, a revelation that will cut deeper than any rumor or financial ruin. I've arranged for a meeting under the guise of offering a truce, a meeting that will serve as the stage for my final strike. The location is the very same hotel where I first saw them together. I arrive early, the weight of the impending confrontation heavy in my chest. The room is quiet, the only sound the soft ticking of my watch. Soon, footsteps echo down the hall, and they enter together, hesitant, uncertain. Andrew, Elisa begins, her voice trembling. Save it, I interrupt sharply, standing to greet them with a disdainful glance. I'm not here for apologies. I'm here for closure. They exchange a nervous look. He clears his throat, stepping forward. We want to make things right, he says, his voice firm but lacking its former confidence. I laugh, a sound devoid of any warmth. Make things right? You think you can undo what's been done? No, but we can try to. It's too late for trying, I cut him off, my voice icy. I know everything. I pause, letting the words hang heavy in the air. I pull out a folder from my briefcase, tossing it onto the table. It spills open, revealing photographs, not just any photographs, but images of them together, taken before the event that started it all. This was not a one-time mistake, I state flatly. You've been deceiving me for months. Their shock is palpable, their facade of remorse shattered by the undeniable evidence of their prolonged deceit. How long did you think you could play me for a fool? I continue, my voice rising in anger. Did you think I wouldn't find out? Elisa stammers, her composure breaking. I turn to him, my gaze cold and calculating. And you, I trusted you as a colleague, as a part of my business circle. You're nothing but a snake. The room is thick with tension, their guilt mingling with my vindictive satisfaction. I lean in, my voice a venomous whisper. But here's the real twist, I say. You're both finished. Not just socially, not just professionally. Financially. Every asset you hope to hide has been seized or is under investigation. Your accounts, your properties, everything. Their faces drain of color, the finality of their ruin dawning upon them. And as for us, I turned to Elisa, my heart hardening against any lingering pain. Consider this my final goodbye. There's nothing left to say. I don't wait for their response. I leave them there, in the silence of their despair, the door closing with a sound that marks the end of our shared history. Outside, the cool evening air feels like a balm. As I walk away, the weight lifts from my shoulders, each step more buoyant than the last. The game of deceit they played has ended, their lives dismantled by the very lies they wove. And as for me, I step into a future unburdened by their betrayal, the past now just a shadow fading in the light of my new beginning.